Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Moon.
Hello and welcome to your Aquarius Full Moon Great Mother Speaks reading. This full moon is in the nakshatra of Dhanista. It is a very happy-go-lucky energy, people that are born in it, and actually it's the fewest people of record who are born in this nakshatra than of any other. It is equidistance between Capricorn and Aquarius in the Jyotish astrology, which is what we use here on Great Mother Speaks. She calls it the soul astrology. This is the astrology that really does pace this life with the soul most accurately because it is cosmological. We do use Western astrology in terms of understanding our egoic relationship to the soul. So our emotional state is really important in terms of looking at our Western astrology. Here we deal with mama drama trauma, which is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed issues of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. And so in order to heal mama drama trauma, we have to tap into our intuitive wisdom, which is the fundamental basis of lunar astrology when it is activated as a tool to be used for healing, which is why we use the Jyotish astrology and your Jyotish moon sign, which you can find in the calculator below. Of course, use whichever moon sign most resonates with you at this time. Detachment is all about an energy of sociability, and following up the new moon reading in Cancer, you may want to check on what your new moon wishes were. I have found with individuals who come for readings how incredible using the follow-up full moon reading within the context of what Great Mother was saying during the new moon gives a very enlightened perspective on how to work with the lunar energies, because with the personal readings, we actually look at your unique cosmic calculus, your moon sign. So even if your moon sign is Aquarius, not all of you have this full moon as your full moon at this particular time. Some of you will have it at other times during the year based on the degree of the moon in which you were born. For example, you may be born at 5 degrees Aquarius, and that's more new moon energy. Full moon energy is 15, 16 degrees, etc., etc. So I want to encourage you to be more familiar with your degrees of your moon sign, because the Lunar New Year for you and the midpoint of your year is going to vary quite a bit with these general readings, as well as configurations, aspects, and planetary placements in your birth chart. So for that, go to greatmotherspeaks.info for a personal reading. I want to let you know that because it is going to also change the nakshatra of your moon sign. And so this, generally speaking, at this time, the moon is in the nakshatra of Dhanista, but you may be in another nakshatra in which you were born. There are an average of 2.5 nakshatras per sign. So there's a toss-up there energetically, but we'll do our best here. This energy overall, generally for all of us speaking here, is a full moon energy of lightheartedness. It's a lightheartedness that is very communicative. It's very socially oriented, highly creative. It's honest. Aquarian energy is very honest, very direct, can be emotionally detached, which in many cases for mama drama trauma is a good thing, because our yellow brick road is a healing road of loving detachment from the drama, the trauma, and in some cases, the mama, if that is necessary. And so this kind of mental acuity comes from a sense of a capability to maneuver one's mental space that's made available through the alchemy of Aquarian energy. in this constellation. It is very learned, particularly through its social proclivities, through friends. It really loves to interact with people and create associations with individuals in order to gain its knowledge, in order to really enjoy life. That's an important part of gaining wisdom. And the knowledge is so important in order to be able to decode macro patterns, the macro patterns of life. They're very good architects. They're very good engineers, and they can look at the whole and break it down into detail. And this all seems to come about over a drink after work. They tend to learn quite well in study groups in school. Even their romantic life is centered around social engagement. And so if you're dating someone like this, or you are like this yourself, it may be difficult for you to understand the attachment that people have romantically in relationships that dictates a very singular one-on-one relationship, when in fact love for you is an augmented experience with others. So it's very intuitive at the same time with regard to the unique genius of others, and it likes to tap into that as well as the genius within oneself. So we're talking about the transition from Capricorn energy, which is all about that inner silence and diligent focus and manifesting, to this equidistance to Aquarian energy that's about outer service. And so bringing that inner wisdom, that inner genius, that macro vision into the world through the detailed analysis and connecting with others to manifest that outer service. And so coming through the eclipses and coming through all that we have been experiencing this year with the retrogrades, we now have Jupiter direct as of the 11th of this month. Yes! And so that is a very central theme of this full moon reading. Jupiter is direct again in the sign of Scorpio in the Vedic. So we're going to look at that in each sign as we look at the illumination that this Aquarius full moon in Dashneta has for you. Okay, Pisces moon sign people, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. So it's a huge download energy for you. You may be feeling a little restless. You may have some educational and career issues that you're trying to work out at this particular time. With all these downloads, you're getting some real intuitive sense of what needs to happen going forward. And some of this restlessness for some of you may be creating a little extravagant expenditures at this time, trying to connect the gap between worlds. Jupiter is in your 9th house. So when we're talking internal work, intuitive energy, 9th house energy is about what you believe in terms of your teachings, what you've been taught, what you consider to be wisdom from great father energy, or even your own blood maternal line that has come down to you, what you've learned from your own actions that have proven to you through experience what is wisdom in your life. This, at this particular time, is an energy, as Jupiter has gone direct for you, that may be creating opportunities for affluence, with some of you spending a little there. You may find yourself committing a little bit more to the religion that you were raised with, or that you now feel is worthy of more consideration. There's perhaps an interest in hidden things for your advancement. And so maybe if you weren't taught a particular way to go, or you were and you didn't pay attention to it at this particular time, you are, because you are really tapping into whatever is going to help you make this transition from what you're downloading manifest in your real life in terms of wisdom, your education, to make changes in your actual gifting that you have in the world. This is really generating a lot of creativity for you. And so you're feeling like you're at this crossroads with the Hecate card. Your center card is always the card telling us the work that your soul wants to do this full moon. And Hecate is a crescent throat chakra energy that is about speaking new things into the world. And so sometimes when we do that, there can be a little apprehension, a little hesitation. There can be perceived mistakes made in saying something and we didn't mean it, as Dorothy is here in the scene when the witch is shocked in her attempt to take Dorothy's shoes. The ruby red slippers symbolize, in the Dorothy's analogy of Mama Drama Trauma, our birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, which have been bestowed upon us since time immemorial. Before we even incarnated, we have the birthright, all living things, to be happy, healthy, and whole, including us. And Great Mother told her to never take them off, but she did offer them to the Wicked Witch in exchange for Toto's life. And in her effort to take them, she was shocked. This is soul work that has to do with you realizing you do have the birthright to have your intuition, which Toto symbolizes, and your birthright to live happy, healthy, and whole. It's not an either or proposition. Walking between the worlds, Pisces moon sign, is something that's not new to you, but particularly at this time, it may feel as a renewed challenge for you with this Hecate card. And so it's another opportunity for you to remember it is not an either or proposition. You have the birthright to have both. With such strong fifth house energy, where Mercury and Venus are at this time in Cancer, it's a mental activation for you to empower your expression of your birthright and of your divinity. And of course, our divinity is marked by the principle that we are dearly loved children of the Great Mother, Father, God, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. So this is imparting to you a sense of wanting to have more educational experiences. You're wanting wisdom. You're wanting this hidden knowledge. You may be wanting to travel to gain these experiences in order to put in your cap of wisdom. During this process, you may be experiencing some improvement in your relationship with your mother and other relatives in your family, because what's bringing up the Hecate card is processing. You're processing the every mother concept that all mothers do the best they can. You're processing the reality of who she is. We talk a lot about the fantasy mother, and some of you are really coming to terms with the reality and the limitations of your mother in terms of how she can express love to you based on what she knows love to be in her own experience. This balsamic moon energy is an energy that has to do with those intuitive downloads and this 12th house energy of this Aquarius full moon. In your shadow position is integrity, another balsamic moon card. The balsamic moon cards are all of the acronym of aspire, and we do aspire to live in loving detachment from Mama Drama Trauma, which is what I'm seeing you are beginning to do this Aquarius full moon. You may not realize, however, that there is a sense of integrity that is emerging from you, as we see here with Dorothy, having arrived back at the farm and awakening, pointing to Professor Marvel saying, and you were there too. Of course, he was Oz in Emerald City. And she said, you were there too, to which everyone responds laughingly. And so you may be feeling like in your pursuit of balancing both worlds, other people are not acknowledging your journey. They're not recognizing that there are jewels of wisdom that you do have and that you are sharing that they should know or that they should understand. And this eternal grace and mercy that's on this card is really about the eternal grace and mercy that's available to us. We have limitless grace and mercy points in life and unlimited do-overs, but others do as well. And so this may be in your shadow position that others can only give us what they can. And so some of you may not be experiencing an improved relationship with your mother because this truth has not come up for you yet to deal with the reality of her limitations. But for others of you who are experiencing an improved relationship with your mother and other relatives, you may not realize that the reason that you are is because you have come to this truth. What you want in your desire position, the birth mother card, it is a crescent moon root chakra card. Here in this scene, Dorothy is telling Aunt Em and Uncle Henry that Miss Gulch is coming after her in total, behaving quite threateningly. This is the soulmate card. Our mothers are our soulmates, and our soulmates help us to evolve. And particularly with the soul contract of Mama Drama Trauma, it is to evolve in self-love and spiritual independence. You are wanting to evolve more in self-love and spiritual independence. With the root chakra here, you are wanting to reground yourself after this particular eclipse season and Jupiter turning direct in your 9th house in your new wisdom gained through self-love and the spiritual independence you've been practicing through the course of the season. The present support available to you to do that is the Ankh. This is the double yin, single yang, third quarter moon card. It's also third eye, which rules Cancer, which is where Mercury and Venus are in your 5th house. So this sense of creating a new life moving forward is being supported by the law of ego, form, and manifestation. It is your dharma to do that. And the South Node is in your 10th house of dharma. And when we're talking about internal work that we do through the houses, the 10th house is our dharma, our life purpose. And so you're being supported and letting go of a sense of being disorganized or dealing with mental, issues that have kept you unable to clearly see where you need to go. There's a sense now of becoming more mentally sharp. You may have a feeling that, again, you're saying and maybe doing things that your peers or your neighbors, your coworkers don't quite understand or appreciate at this particular time. And that is just a reflection of your restlessness, being between these worlds and not quite owning at this particular time your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, and your divinity identity. Okay, the Hecate, the crossroads card of the soul that wants to do this work at this time, not quite fully owning that, which is why the soul wants to do this work. And so you're being supported by the law of ego, form, and manifestation that says what you've downloaded through this course of these eclipses and the retrogrades is now something that you're being supported and acting upon. So the clarity will cometh. It is coming. The present state of your ego soul alignment is the Durga card. This is new moon gut chakra energy. The gut chakra is ruled by Mars, which is the emissary of Dasnita, the nakshatra of this full moon. So there's a message coming to you viscerally that in order for you to join the two worlds and walk in both simultaneously with a level of stability and a level of self-appreciation, self-love, and the spiritual independence that you desire, is that there needs to be clear definitions of your boundaries. They need to be established and maintained by your articulation of them. Hecate, the foundational card of your spread, the crossroads, is a throat chakra card. And so in articulating what those boundaries are, you always want to remember that the wall around your divine monastery is not just to keep those out that contaminate your divine space, but to also give you the time and space that you need on a daily basis to cultivate what you're downloading from Great Mother. And this card, Dorothy, is transitioning from the farm and walking into the Technicolor world of Munchkin Land. That's what you're doing moving forward. And so that is the present state of your ego soul alignment. You're crossing a threshold into using your integrity to activate a very sharp mental sense of what these boundaries are and how to maintain them. Why your soul wants to do this work is the Ishtar prostitute card. This is second chakra energy, which is ruled by Jupiter. So this ninth house energy is very powerful for you. There's an inner explorative sense that you have at this particular time that is enabling you to see where, with the full moonlight of Ishtar, where it is serving you to go back to the past relationships, as we see Dorothy trying to return to the farm as the twister is kicking up, which is a foreboding sign that she is not ready to return and will not be able to return until her healing journey is over. So your soul wants to do the work of recognizing what is working for you now that you can bring forward from your past and what will no longer work for you. It needs you to be very clear about that so that you can work with the present energies of your ego soul alignment to establish very clear, productive boundaries. How your soul wants to do this work is by recognizing those things that enrage you. The Sekhmet Waxing Gibbous Root Chakra card is about someone trying to take away your intuition, someone trying to, again, others not understanding or appreciating or recognizing the things that you're doing and that you're saying. Now, because you may be feeling a sense of restlessness and a sense of not having clarity, there could be anger just out of frustration in communicating what your truth is that you're downloading at this time. Remember, what's bringing all of this up is the processing card. You're processing all of this. You're processing the limitations of your mother and others and your own in terms of what you can take on and what you cannot in order to maintain your divinity and your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. That's a lot. And with the North Node in your fourth house, for the duration of this nodal transit of Gemini in the North Node and Sagittarius in the South in the Vedic, you're really dealing with communication issues with your mother. You're dealing with communication issues in terms of feeling grounded in your body, speaking intuitively. So this rage is unsettling. It is ungrounding. We see the root chakra here. And so how your soul wants to bring the worlds together, your divinity, your intuition, with your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, is through the practical recognition of things that make you upset. Those are the things that are not going to work going forward. Ding, 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 ding. They are the huge indicators of what needs to be left at this full moon that has purified the illumination of what this rage and frustration is for some of you. For others, the Sekhmet card is a recognition specifically of those things that enrage you about your birth mother soulmate that prevent you from your desire of evolving in self-love and spiritual independence. And that's a blessing because that's going to pinpoint exactly what areas in your life that do need to have clear, healthy, articulated, and maintained boundaries. Doing this work, this full moon, Pisces moon sign people, will give you the outcome of justice. Emotional justice is that balance we see with the first quarter moon third eye card of Mayat. Mayat holds the scales, and of course the scales of the heart and the feather. No man can judge. We cannot judge another simply because we do not know another man's heart. But the Great Mother, Father God, they know ours. Just as in this card is the scene when Oz does give Dorothy. Actually, this is the card when Oz is confronted by Dorothy and the three about not being a wizard. They realize he doesn't have the power to grant them their wishes, and they're very upset. Now, how could this be the outcome for you once you do the inner work to bring these worlds together? Well, the outcome for you being justice with the third eye first quarter is that you were going to be facing the challenge of looking at something you have not wanted to look at. So these boundary issues that are enraging you are issues that as of now, either you have not looked at, and by doing this work, you will see the truth of what they are, and you will recognize that it wasn't necessary for you to try to fulfill the needs of others to understand and appreciate you in order for you to get your broom, rather your power. They did it, and he wasn't even a wizard. Or this justice could have to do with you just simply realizing that although it's very upsetting that the reality of the limitations of your mother and other people is there, you are receiving a great deal of wisdom and knowledge that is enough for you to feel and experience the divinity that you need at this time, which is not what you expected. Just as Dorothy and the three did not expect Oz not to truly be a wizard, but they did receive their wishes. Okay? So that is your full moon reading from Great Mother. Remember that Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Moon.